Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which we will look at adding and subtracting integers. So integers are just whole numbers. They can be positive if they're more than 0, negative if they're below 0, or 0, which is neither negative nor positive. So we're going to add and subtract integers using the number line. You've probably seen the number line many times. 0 is kind of in the middle. To the right are all the positive numbers. To the left are all the negative numbers. So as you go to the left, numbers are getting smaller. So negative 6 is smaller than negative 5 because it's to the left. Negative 5 is smaller than negative 4 because negative 5 is to the left of it, and so on. As you go to the right, numbers are getting larger. You already know 2 is more than 1, 3 is more than 2, and so on. It's really important that we understand that because that's going to tell us the direction we need to go along the number line when adding or subtracting. So if you have something like negative 4 plus 2, you're adding 2, you're making the number 2 larger than it originally was. So that's why when you add a positive number, you need to go to the right, because you're making the number larger. So for negative 4 plus 2, what we're going to do is start at negative 4 and we're going to go 1, 2 to the right. I went 2 to the right because the second number was 2. I made negative 4 larger by 2. So negative 4 plus 2 just gives you negative 2. So the opposite's true when you're subtracting. If we have negative 4 subtract 2, we're making the number smaller. We need to go to the left. So once again, I'm going to start at negative 4. This time, though, I'm going to go 2 to the left. So negative 4 subtract 2 gives us negative 6. So what about when we have positive and negative signs next to each other? Well, we're going to use these rules here. So if you have negative 4 plus negative 2, don't worry too much about the brackets, but we have a positive and a negative sign next to each other. When you have a positive and negative sign next to each other, you replace it with one negative sign. So negative 4 plus negative 2, that's actually the same as negative 4 minus 2. I just changed plus and minus next to each other to a minus. So once again, we're going to start at negative 4, go 2 to the left. We get the same answer as the last time. It's negative 6. So just be aware, when we're adding or subtracting, these rules are not telling us whether the answer is positive or negative. If we have a negative and a negative, we didn't get a positive answer. All it's telling us is what to do when you have two signs next to each other. So let's look at negative 4 subtract negative 2. So when you have two negative signs next to each other, as we do here, two subtraction signs next to each other, we change it to a positive. So negative 4 subtract negative 2, you replace the two negatives with a positive. It's just negative 4 plus 2, and we found out before that that gives us negative 2. So once again, this rule is not telling us what the answer should be. It's not saying the answer is positive. It's just saying if you have two negative signs next to each other, you change it to a positive. All right, let's look at an example involving larger numbers now. So if you have something like negative 63 subtract negative 36, you can still use a number line if you can't do it in your head. Of course, we don't want to rule up our number line, negative 63, negative 62, negative 61. That will take forever. So we're going to do it like this. So we know if we have two negatives next to each other, we make this a plus. So what we have to do is start at negative 63. Now, because this is now a plus 36, we are going to go 36 to the right. Again, I don't want to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 36. That will take too long. So what we can do is skip count. We want to go 36 to the right. So let's go 30 to the right. So if I go 30 to the right of negative 63, it's not negative 93, it's negative 33. We're actually making the number closer to 0. We're making it larger by 30. So I've gone 30 to the right, so I need to go another 6 to the right. So negative 33 plus 6 gives us negative 27. Again, we're adding 6, we're making the number larger, and because we start negative, we're getting closer to 0. So the answer is negative 27. Let's try a worded question now. So the morning temperature was negative 5, the afternoon it was 10. By how much did the temperature rise? So you might be able to do this in your head without a number line, which is fine, but I'll show you how we can use a number line. So what we're saying is we started at negative 5 and went all the way up to 10. It's important that we understand that the negative 5, the temperature in the morning was less than 0, so it's to the left of 0 on the number line. Temperature in the afternoon was positive, so it's to the right. So we're saying, how far have we gone? Well, we've gone 5. To get to 0, we add 5, and then to get to 10, we add another 10. So we've actually gone up by 15 degrees Celsius. Another way you can think of this is it's 10 subtract negative 5. So we're just doing higher number minus smaller number. And of course, when you have two negatives next to each other, you make it a plus, and 10 plus 5 you would know is 15 degrees. So that's the answer. All right, let's now look at doing some substitution. So substitution is a part of algebra. When you get an expression like this that has letters or pronumerals, we're just substituting or replacing the pronumerals with numbers. So if a equals negative 3, b equals negative 12, we need to calculate what equals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this expression b minus a minus 1. So what it's telling me is everywhere I see a b, I'm going to rub it out and replace it with the number negative 12, because that's what the question told me. And everywhere I see an A, I'm going to rub it out and replace it with negative 3. So it doesn't really matter whether or not you put the brackets here. I'm just putting the brackets here to tell you that this is like a subtraction and this is a negative. It's negative 12 subtract negative 3, and then we're going to take away 1. So you know from the previous slide, two negatives next to each other make a positive. So I have negative 12 plus 3, so that gives me negative 9. If we start at negative 12, we're making the number 3 larger. We're getting closer to 0. I haven't done anything with the minus 1 yet, so I will keep that as it is. So negative 9 minus 1. So if you're stuck, you can draw a number line. We've got negative 9 here to the left of 0. I want to go 1 to the left. So the next number there is negative 10. Negative 10 is actually smaller than negative 9. So my final answer here is negative 10, and I'm done. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.